as I was talking to a couple of our different momentum group coaching clients, the theme of repricing, especially as we released our content on time blocking and those kinds of things, we really saw that there were a lot of people that they knew that repricing was taking up a huge chunk of their time. And especially with Black Friday, Cyber 5, right around the corner, it's really important that we have those repricers set up, ready to go. We can't let this go any longer, because getting that repricer is going to mean so much more money in your pocket. So especially as things start to heat up around some of these Q4 sales, you can go to bed having 30 in stock, and then what will happen is a whole bunch of them, a couple of sellers will go out, the price will shoot up. You sold out at 14, everybody else is now selling at 27, and you could have sold at 27 the next day. So we've got Michael from BQool here, and he's going to share some of the basics about the repricer, and then at the end, he's going to have some live demo time. So if you want to ask specific questions like, how would I do this? Or can you help me with that? I'm struggling with this. Then we're happy to do that for you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Michael. And this way you can kind of go ahead and start walking us through that process.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Robin. And thanks a lot for having me on. I'm a big fan of your work and your webinars and your content. Cool. So let's go ahead and get started. There are seven main parts to today's presentation. So first, I'm going to help you guys understand some repricing scenarios, and that will lead into the rules, because you need to be able to visualize the scenarios to make your rule. And okay, so the next thing would be the setup min and max price. Or otherwise known as the floor and the ceiling. In BQool, it's different. So you set your rules and then you set your floor and ceiling. They're different parts. And then I have some tips for you on how to raise your price to help you, like Robin mentioned, in case like price shoots up, how to get more profit using repricing. And then we'll do a little bit of repricing practice to help you guys, because later on when you're repricing on your own, you need to be able to check like, okay, is this doing what I want it to do, and how do I fix it if it's not? And then we'll go into the software and walk you through some things, and I think it'll help clarify. And then I'll also give you some support resources so you know where to ask for help. And then we actually have a special promotion for Q4, so it's the perfect time to buy repricing. You can get a discount, and I'll go over that at the end. Okay.
So I'm really excited for this, because I think I'm ready to jump right into it, because we're going to jump into some rules specifically that I asked him to make, and then he's got there's some things that I didn't know BQool did that he's going to go through. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right, so the first part is repricing scenarios. And so here are three scenarios, three basic scenarios on this page. So I want you to imagine you have your price floor set, your min price set at $10, and your max price is set at 20. Okay, just a hypothetical. So if your competitor's price is above min at $15, is right in the middle of your range, that's what it looks like. Second scenario, if your competitor's price equals your min, so your competitor is at $10 now, he's at your min, and competitor's price equals max price, he's at $20, he's at your max. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the minimum price is going to be the equivalent to the floor price in other repricers, and the max would be the equivalent to the ceiling price, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. The next scenario that you will find in BQool is when your competitor's price is either below your min or above your max. So sometimes you have both competitors below min and above max. It's kind of a tricky situation, and we'll go over the options for that later. No competition is when you're the only seller. That's what that means. And buy box suppressed means that there are there are sellers, including yourself, but everybody is priced too high. So there's actually no buy box for that listing. Robin, does that happen to you sometimes?
Yeah, so I mean, I think all of those definitely happen, and it's important that we have a strategy to, to work on those and make sure that we're, especially during Q4, because those can happen really fast, because the buy box can get suppressed for, if the price goes too high, or for a lot of other reasons.
Right. Okay. And on this slide is we'll show you like kind of, okay, so now you have your competitor at 15. If you're using like a match strategy, so your price will also be 15. I think that's pretty straightforward. And so besides matching, you can also beat competitors. So if you beat your competitor by 1 cent, it's $14.99. And if you reprice up by 5 cents from your competitors, $15.05. Okay, so that's kind of the repricing practice in the beginning. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to make the rules. Now we actually have default rules in BQool, but just for this webinar, as part of Robin's program, I think it's really cool. So I think basically, Robin, you have 2 basic rules for your students, right?
Yeah, and making sure that people are just slightly above the lowest FBA when they're trying to have things move, but we don't want to give the farm away, and we don't want to trigger other repricers. You guys can adjust this based on the competitiveness in your space. So you might have it at 2 or 3%, you might have it at 1, but these are some of the things that you can do to make sure you're not the lowest price, but you're low enough to usually get the buy box and have it cycle through, but not be triggering other people to, cause tanking with other repricers.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. This rule, reprice 1% above the FBA seller, helps you avoid the race to the bottom. Yeah. Okay. So let's just jump right into it. So when you go into the rule, you have buy box settings at the top. So we think it's actually best if we just turn off buy box settings, disable buy box settings. And later on, if anyone actually wants to use buy box settings, we can definitely go over it. But for now, let's just say disable it. And let's jump right into repricing settings. Okay, so in the repricing settings, we recommend you select compete with lowest price. And then where it says choose competitors, click FBA only. Because this way, what it means is you will compete with the lowest FBA price. Like you'll ignore Amazon, you ignore MF and non-featured sellers. Okay, and on this next setting, when competitor is above min price, we recommend competitor's price plus 1%. That's what the rule does. So if their FBA, the lowest FBA will increase price by 1% up against them. And we have some additional settings right here. Like, so what happens if you have competitors below min price? Or what happens if you have competitors that equal min price? Because obviously we can't go below your min, right? So what do you want to do in those instances? And we recommend something called auto compete. And auto compete will just find the next competitor above your min price to compete with. So that's auto compete, but we also have some other options, like you can use min price that we'll go over later. Okay, and then number 4 right here, we kind of just have some additional scenarios that you can play around with. For example, no competition. I have this set on something kind of in between. So if there's no competition, I have it set to min price plus 50%. And actually, a lot of sellers, if they're the only seller, they might want to do max price, or they might want to just do max price because you're the only seller, right? Why not go to your max? But I also found that a lot of users they want to do something in between. So min price plus 50% kind of ensures that your price is something reasonable, not too high.
So what that's going to do is, for the most part, you're going to, when you have that competition, somebody's at 29.99, and you could even do, because Denise said, even if I'm a penny off, I don't see as much rotation in the buy box. But you can definitely get your share of the buy box when you're 2 or even 3% above the above the lowest price. It's going to depend on how competitive it is and how many people you're sharing it with. So normally you're going to be going back and forth on that, and you could even set it to lower. You could set it to 0.25%. So it's just, or 1 penny above, but then this no competition thing, that what it's going to provide you with is, if everybody else sells out, like what would happen with me on FeedVisor when I was on FeedVisor is the price would jump up to my maximum price, and then I would stop getting any sales because it jumped up too much. So this allows you to say, I know that this is normally, unless the price is being driven up by other sellers, I know that, the most that this is going to sell at is, this certain, 50% above our, max price or something along those lines.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool that you have that what happens if you go to max price. And actually, I guess it also depends on what your max price is. I guess we'll talk about this later, but for some users, they might they're like, okay, min is really important, right? Because you don't want to lose money. But then like they set max price to like $1,000, and right. And then like in some of these scenarios, it's like, wow, they actually jump up to $1,000, and it's all sorts of crazy things can happen. Like you can get delisted, or sales will just stop coming in as you're just priced so high. So
and
yeah.
Even if it did sell, it's likely going to get return because they might not have realized until it runs to their credit card. So, I mean, if you're trying to set up, when you're setting up the spreadsheet, he's going to show you the spreadsheet later, how you can upload everything all at once. You could even just say, you could take your current price and like multiply it by 3 and say, if it's more than 3 times, you might even say 4 times for Q4, but, I wouldn't recommend it at 1,000, so like if we had a product that was normally 45, we might set the max at like, 90, which would be crazy high for that item. But, I would only want it to maybe, if I was the only person in stock, I maybe only want it to go to, to 60.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. A next scenario is no competition between min and max. So you have competitors, but they're all below your min and above your max. And I have it set to do not reprice. So this is kind of a tough call. You have competitors below your min and above your max, and we have it set to do not reprice, but we have other options available, like you can choose min price or you can choose max price. It's definitely your call. And at the same time, we're going to eventually split up this setting into what happens if all competitors are below min, and what happens if all competitors are above max. We'll have different settings for that. But for right now, it's just one setting, so you kind of have to pick the one that works most of the time. Okay, and there's some more settings down here, but they're all pretty much optional, and you don't really have to play around with it. Unless you guys have any specific questions, I'm going to skip it.
And John asks, do the same rules apply for like clothing and shoes? And I would say they definitely do. And believe it, BQool, you can set it by the child ASIN, right?
Child ASIN, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So you might determine that, you might be maybe you're going to be more aggressive. So you could look at your SKUs, John, and you could say, anything above size, size 18, or as well, anything above size 18. Like say for shoes, anything over like a size 10, we're going to price a little bit more aggressively, and you could use different rules for that. But these same rules and the rotation of the buy box is still going to apply for sure. With it, it's just that you're going to be competing on a lot of child ASINs that are all on the same parent ASIN. So you're not going to, it's going to be a little bit different in the way that the prices move up and down, but the rules would still function the same.
Yeah, I have to say, if you're doing a child ASIN strategy, that is pretty advanced stuff. Like, because you're just defining the repricing strategy very specifically. It's very cool. All right. Okay, and the last part of the rule is custom settings, and this is where mainly you're just excluding sellers for various reasons. Like maybe there's a guy that is lowballing all the time, so just add their seller ID in here, and you can just like exclude them. You can exclude sellers with free shipping. You can exclude sellers with expedited shipping. Exclude sellers, let's say they're new or they have a very low feedback rating. So that's what these two are for. So I think I would definitely recommend exclude feedback rating lower than 80%. You don't want to compete against any low quality sellers. Yep, and exclude sellers with back ordered. If they're back ordered, they can't win the buy box. Go ahead and exclude those. I've heard a lot of feedback saying that exclude this one right here helps keep prices higher, helps you keep from repricing lower against those back ordered sellers. And you can also exclude sellers with a handling time of longer than say 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, etc. And also, if you're selling used products, then you can turn this one on. I have it turned off, and I'm not sure if you guys are selling used or
Mostly
new products.
new items.
Okay, mostly new, right? Okay, yeah. So you can I think you can just leave this off. But if you're selling used products, you can turn on this setting, and we have some more options for that. All right, so that's actually the first rule. And here's the second one. So this is the more competitive rule, like just liquidation, get it out. Like the last one was more about protecting your profit. So this one is more aggressive. Again, we're going to disable buy box settings, and for competitors, or we're going to choose lowest price again. And this time I have all the competitors checked off. Okay, and you guys don't have to have all of them checked off, but just because we're liquidating, I just have them all checked off. And so when competitors is above min price, this time we have it set to beat by a penny. Okay, so we want to be the lowest price on this on the lowest offer. When competitors below min, we'll just do min. When competitors equals min price, we'll just do min. No competition. Okay, maybe something in between, like min price plus 50%. But again, you guys can, if you're liquidating, maybe you want to just do min. No competition between min and max. This time we have it set to min price pretty much. Well, min price plus a penny. Okay, and skip the next three. And over here, under exclusions, this time I didn't set so many exclusions. Maybe just exclude backorder sellers.
And there was one question about used books. So with the exclusion, the last one there with the compete against same. So they asked if with the same would be the rules would still apply with used books, and that would be the setting, that bottom setting that he's got there. That's going to be the setting that you're going to use to make sure that you're only competing, you're repricing based off of your the listings that are the same quality as yours. And then Leslie mentioned that Amazon can be really, really competitive and manipulative around the price of new books. Since that's really like their what they're known for, it's their home. You're absolutely right. They can be a little crazy about that. New books and anything where Amazon's competing directly against, it can be really frustrating. And usually, this is the strategy that we have the best success in, is waiting for them to sell out, or we just don't compete against them. But I know that there's a lot of people who do compete against Amazon, but you're going to have to be a little bit more patient because they're going to hog that buy box and move things around quite a bit. I don't know if that answered your question, but go ahead, Michael.
Oh no, that's a great tip. So I guess basically, depending on what you're selling, maybe for this rule, maybe you still want to exclude Amazon. Maybe that's better.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on what you're selling for sure. And if Amazon is on this listing, in this setting, it's just a PDF. So I'll go into the rule later because it sounds like some of you guys might be interested. And I'll show you what options we have under the used option right there. Cool. Okay, so that is the rule. So we're going to move on to min and max, or floor and ceiling. And also for those of you who need to be MAP compliant, so we'll kind of go over that as well. Okay, so within BQool, you can either set listings one at a time or in bulk. So first I'm going to start with the one at a time. Number one, you'll see that there's a place for you to enter min and max on each listing. So that's how you would enter it directly. And there's a calculator there. There's the ROI calculator. If you open up the calculator, you can take your cost and all the fees, and we know after that we know the total cost. And then you can either enter a profit margin or you enter an ROI, and it'll spit out the min price that you need to set. Or you can enter a min price and then see what ROI you would get.
I think that's really, really cool. So, and this is working with listings on an individual basis. So
Yes.
with BQool, you can set rules globally, and then you can also set rules on a SKU basis, right? So this is at the SKU basis that you can use this calculator at.
Yes, yeah, it's just per SKU. Right on. Okay. This next part is a competitor analysis. It's pretty unique to BQool. It helps you visualize the listing and all the offers and the sellers and all of their information is on here. And this is really handy for checking your work. I think you guys had some questions like, how do I check my work and make sure everything is okay? Well, if you look at this screen, you see that our min price of $682 is actually low enough to compete against all sellers. So I think it's okay. But at the same time, let's say my min was at like $60. So if it was at $60, you would only be able to compete with like the 15th place seller, and there's 14 offers above you. So this kind of gives you a ballpark. Let's just see. Okay, is my min and max reasonable? And it'll also let you know your current price, and see we're 8th place. So you can kind of look at this and say, okay, 8th place, is that good enough, or do I want to be lower? Do I want to be, more competitive?
And Carla wanted to know where you would find the competitor analysis.
Oh yeah, sure. I will, how about we go over that in the demo part?
Yeah, we'll go over that. So Carla, I'm gonna leave that question unanswered so that we can come back to it later. And Mark wants to know, does it include quantity per competitor? I don't think it has quantity, right?
We don't. We don't. It's not in the API. The quantity, yeah. We only know your quantity. We don't know your competitor's quantity. Yeah, but that's a good question. I know that some sellers use quantity to make pricing decisions. It's definitely something we can look into in the future.
Awesome. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'll let you go ahead and keep moving there.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so those are kind of like individual basis. Oh, let me go back and let me say that you can actually edit your min and max price on this page directly, and you can also edit your price. If you see that like under your price, it's like there's a blue thing, blue number, like you can edit your price directly from here. Although I would recommend pausing repricing, because otherwise you change your price and then we'll just rewrite it like when we reprice again. All right, so here is bulk actions. So this is where you can change multiple listings at a time. And we have 3 options under bulk actions. You can set your price based off of your current price, so your price plus shipping. You can set it after you import cost. You can set it like as a percentage of your cost, or you can set it as a fixed price or like a global price, like $15. Like everything comes in, it's $15, or everything comes in, it's $50. It's not so like if you do cost, let's say you do cost plus like say 100%, it's not quite as precise as like using the calculator, because you just have the cost, but you know you also have to factor in the fees and also the margin that you want. So this is more like kind of like a rough estimate. Okay. And for those of you who need to be MAP compliant, so what I recommend that you do is that you probably have a list, right? A list of SKUs, and you have the MAP price on it. So take that and use BQool's Repricing Central bulk upload file. I'll show you, we have 3 types of bulk upload files. Use the first one, and you just copy the SKU and copy the MAP price and make that your min. And some of the additional required things, like you just have to specify the marketplace. Most of you guys are probably Amazon US, so for channel, you just choose Amazon US. And the rule name is just the repricing rule that you want to assign for this SKU. And the max price, I guess you calculate separately. And then you enter that as well.
So you would just put in your SKU, and then you're going to, which rule name you're going to apply to that SKU is going to be in the rule name, and you would just copy and paste that, right? And then the MAP price, whatever the MAP price is going to be, then that's what you would put as the minimum price, because that's the lowest you can go. It's essentially your floor pricing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's exactly right. And I have an important note if you're MF, if you're merchant fulfilled. If you're FBA and you have free shipping, you should just be able to use the MAP price directly. But if you're MF, there's something else you have to factor for. So let me go over that. So let's say your MAP price is $12. And your FBA with free shipping, you just enter $12 for min. Okay, so that's example 1. So example 2 is what if you are MF and you have $2 shipping or $3.99 shipping? You need to add that into the min price that you set, because the min price and max price in BQool, it also includes shipping. So it includes your price and it also includes shipping. So to satisfy a MAP of $12 with $2 shipping, you need to set your min price at 14. If you set it at 12, then your price can go down to $10 plus $2 shipping, and it meets the BQool's requirement for min price of $12, but you'll get in trouble with the brand, right? You sell below the MAP, right? $10.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Okay, so I know that a lot of you guys are Inventory Lab users. I know Robin uses Inventory Lab. So I'm going to go over how to import costs from Inventory Lab. So from this screenshot, in Inventory Lab, you go to Reports, Inventory Valuation. And what this does is it pulls up a list of all your SKUs and the average CPU for in-stock items, if I'm not mistaken. And then you export it. And so this is like a simplified thing. So basically we just need the SKU and we just need the average CPU. And this is the second bulk upload file in BQool. You would use this one if you just want to upload SKU and cost. Like you're not ready to do min, max, and rule yet. You just want to do cost. So that file is called the active listings file. And yeah, you just pretty much copy and paste over from the exported Inventory Lab file.
And so, Vance asked, like, well, can you adjust per unit for like savings with gift cards and cash? And so if you've done that in Inventory Lab, you want to double check and make sure that that's what's being spit out from the CPU, but you could always adjust that here. So if you know that you're already getting a discount that you haven't put in Inventory Lab, once you get into here, you could just adjust that in the spreadsheet using a formula. Or, what you could do is, you could, work on that. You don't have to use Inventory Lab to do this, but you do have to have some sort of basis for where you're going to send this in. And you could always take this, add another line, another column, and then take that cost and multiply it and add or subtract something if you're trying to add labor. So if you're trying to maybe add the cost of prep maybe after the fact or something along those lines, you can do that. Then you're just going to delete then you would just delete the other column, and then use that column the new adjusted column as you upload it. So because you're right, Vance, that would affect your min and break even costs. So it's as with all computer programs, it's going to be really reliant on the input that you put in to give you good information out. Garbage in, garbage out, great stuff in, great stuff out.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. Okay, cool. And so the second kind of Inventory Lab method for getting your costs in here is using the closed batch report. So you go to list closed batches and you export the closed batch report. And okay, so on this screen at the top, this is, I made this data up. It's not a real report, but I believe the report should look pretty much exactly like this. And it has a lot of information, but actually all BQool needs is actually just the MSKU, and we need the purchase price. And the cool thing about what we do here is once you export from Inventory Lab, it's a CSV file. And all you need to do is save it as a tab delimited, a .txt file, and upload it straight into BQool. You don't have to like copy and paste into another BQool file. Just save as a TXT and you can upload it straight to BQool.
And so like if you guys were thinking, well, why are we doing both? So the first one, the one where you're exporting the entire thing, that's going to be when you first are getting a BQool set up. And then as you're adding new SKUs, so especially if you're doing retail arbitrage, you're always adding new SKUs, then you're going to use that closed batch to add the new SKUs, so you're not having to constantly upload your entire database. So you're just able to upload the batches of the things that you're adding.
Yes, exactly right. Okay. So that's all for setting min and max price. So the next part is I'll give you some tips because it's Q4 and we want to talk about how to like increase price, right? It's not all just about lowering price. So we have so Robin mentioned, a really good strategy is actually to raise your price when you're out of stock. And so we have a setting in BQool. It's under general settings. And I'll show you where it is because it's kind of hard to find. So if you look at the option that is on, so we have it set to, if you're out of stock, you can take your price and you can add 25% to it, or 50%, or whatever you want. And once you're back in stock, we will start at that price, the new higher price, and then reprice down from there. Okay. And here are just some extra ways to help you increase price with repricing. So for example, once you get your rules set up, you can raise price when your competitor raises price. That's something that's really hard to do if you're not using a repricer. You can raise price when you have no competition. You can raise price when you're out of stock. That's what I just showed. If you're FBA, you can choose to reprice up versus MF sellers. You can avoid competing with backordered sellers. You can avoid competing with new sellers. You can use a scheduler to reset or raise your price each day. And you can use our safety net to avoid large price drops. So I don't go over all of these, but just to give you an idea, these are these are a lot of ways that you can use repricing to raise your price. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do some math. I guess this is kind of like a high school math class again. But you guys will need this because later on when you're repricing, you do want to check to make sure that you understand why you're repricing this way. So let's go right into it. All right, so here's a kind of a hypothetical listing on Amazon, like you're selling this board game right here. So here are the parameters. Let's say we're using the FBA plus 1% rule. Okay, so that's the first rule. Let's say you set your min at $29 and you set your max at $45. What will your price be?
I feel like I should do the drum roll.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody want to like throw out any answers? So kind of in case to refresh your mind, the FBA is only it competes against the lowest FBA and adds 1%. Okay. So let's just go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay.
Yeah, we had a couple guesses, but they weren't right. They were close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had 29.79. We had a couple 29.79s and a couple of 32s.
So okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then it's good. Then it's good that we actually do this. Okay, so we always start with the lowest price seller, right? Okay, so our min is 29, so it covers all the sellers on here. Okay, so the first seller is actually MF, right? They don't have a fulfillment by Amazon label by them. That seller is actually MF, so we will exclude them. If you remember from our rule, we exclude MF. And so instead, we look at the second price seller, the lowest price FBA at $29.55, and we just add 1% to that. So your price will actually be $29.85. So your final price will be $29.85. So imagine you're there at $29.85. You would actually be tied for the third lowest FBA. So the first one is $29.55, the second one is $29.80, and you're at $29.85.
You know, Sharon's got a good point. She says that the first one does say that it is prime.
Oh, it does?
So I take Mark's gold star away, and I'm going to give them back to CY and somebody else who I already answered their question.
Oh, sorry, I'm a little bit. Is it the Swannies? That one is prime?
Yeah, it's got the little prime next to the 29.50. The little blue, yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so I guess. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me think about this for a second because seller fulfilled prime, that's actually something that we should talk about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Jennifer English. She's called it out. She was like, I bet that one seller fulfilled prime. She gets the 70,000 gold star. Good job, guys.
I think everybody's right. I think everybody's pretty on the ball, actually.
Got the smartest sellers ever.
Yeah. So the thing is that if I'm not mistaken, the API treats seller fulfilled prime as regular seller fulfilled as MF. I do not believe that they treat them as FBA in the API. So in the future, I think that is something that we need to look at. BQool, we need to look at is how you have settings for how you want to compete against seller fulfilled prime. So for now, I'm going to stick with we treat seller fulfilled prime as still as MF. Okay, but I need to double check. But that's what I'm going to say right now, and I'm going to try to find out more for you.
Leslie also had a good point that it has low feedback. So depending on the other things that were in the rule that you did this calculation from, it could have been the low feedback that that person had too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it never fails. Anytime you give an example, my math is always wrong. I can do math all day, but then when it's on a slide, it's always misspelled, and Denise always catches me for being off on something. So um, thanks, guys. Thanks for being patient with us.
I think you guys are going to be really good at this
Yeah.
at repricing. I think they're going to be good. Okay, so here's a second example. So let's do this again. So it looks like everyone's having fun with this. Okay, so again, we're going to use the FBA plus 1% rule. Min price is 27 and max is 45. What will your price be? Give you guys a minute to do the
That was
math.
it sounded like a purr, but it's supposed to be a drum roll. Mark says 2778.
Okay, cool, cool.
Carlos says all's the same, so.
Okay, good. So no seller fulfill prime here to throw me off. Okay, so 2775. Right. That's what you said, right, Robin?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
cool.
2778. But
Okay.
I think that could just be rounding. So we
Okay.
2777. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at this. So I think that everybody pretty much figured out that you exclude the first one, right? Because in our rule we excluded back ordered.
Yes.
So the Power Sports blowout, go ahead and cross them out. And so we're looking at the 47 sports, 2750 times 1% and then plus that. So you add 20. Oh crap, my math is wrong. Holy crap. We should add 27 cents. So it should be 27
77, right?
77 or 78 depending on rounding. You guys are totally on the ball. That was just a test. So good job.
The good thing about BQool is it does not rely on Michael's math. It relies on computer math. That is the lesson to be learned here, and this is why we shouldn't be doing our own repricing, that we should have computers do it. But
Yes.
make sure you test everything first. So
Yes, you guys are sharp, very sharp. Good job. Okay, so all right, so here's the software demo part. Let's actually go into the software, and I can show you guys where all those things are that you're wondering. Okay, so I'm going to stop share. Okay, hopefully that doesn't stop the webinar.
no.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm just going to show you, I guess, my desktop view. Okay, can you see the software now?
Yes, we can see the software now. Oh,
but it logged out.
well, just tell us your password. It's all right. We won't tell anyone.
Yeah, sure you won't.
Password 123. I think that's what I saw.
Yes. All right, cool. So here's BQool. If you haven't signed up yet, then this will be your first time to look at it. If you're signed up, then cool, you can follow along. So this is the dashboard screen. There's a few main screens we're going to go over: dashboard, the managed listings, repricing rules, price history, upload file, and reports. Okay, so let's actually start with rules first. Okay, so for those of you who have signed up, you should have 4 rules in your account. My account has a few more because we're playing around with some extra rules here. So you can add rules on this page. You can manage these rules. You can edit or copy or delete them. So let's actually go into the 1% above FBA rule. Okay. So first of all, so here's the buy box settings, and we recommend that you just disable it. But if you guys have any questions, I can kind of go over some of these options with you. So I'm just going to scroll down to repricing settings. And remember, we have this set to lowest price, but you can also choose to compete with buy box price. That's definitely an option. And here you choose your competitors. Okay, so when competitor is above min price, so you can play around with all sorts of stuff in here, but you probably want to do competitor's price, and you can do plus, you can do minus, you can do 1%. Like Robin mentioned, you can do like 0.25%. Oh, sorry, that's okay, 0.25%, or you'll make the program angry. Or maybe you change this from a percent to a dollar sign, and now it's like beating competitors by 25 cents. So there's a lot of options in here. Yes, yeah, Robin.
Yeah, Sharon wanted to see where the no competition was, and since your mouse is like an inch above it, can we just sneak down there real quick and take a look?
Yeah, sure. No competition. Use max price. Do not reprice or customize your price. I have it set to customize your price. And if you choose customize your price, you're going to have like these options here: min, max, your price, fixed price. Plus or minus, you know, enter something, enter a number here, dollar or percentage.
So you can change it right there. So Sharon, that's going to be where you fix the no competition. And then Christian asked, you know, what about, would it alert us if somebody else is violating MAP? I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think BQool will do that. But what you can do is you can set a keepa or a camel alert, and then that would alert you. So if you're helping a brand manage MAP pricing, that's usually what we recommend, is setting up a MAP keepa or a camel alert for those prices.
Yeah, that's probably best. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I guess maybe run through a few more of the settings. So like when competitors below min price, beyond auto compete, you know, you can use min price or max price, do not reprice, or customize your price. Again, it pulls up all of these options like min price plus something. Okay, they're kind of, the settings all kind of look the same. There's a lot of different options for each one of these scenarios. No competition between min and max. Let me go ahead and show you. So you have min price, max price, do not reprice, and fixed price. So like I mentioned before, in a future update, we're going to break this apart. I'm going to skip price change safety net unless more people are interested in it. But I think I will go ahead and tell you guys about advanced settings. So as you guys know, in this rule, we're only competing against FBA, right? But if you turn on advanced settings, you can do something different versus MF. So I'm going to turn on FBA versus MF here. And what a lot of sellers do if you're FBA is you will do something like, if it's MF, you increase by 5%. So if you want to, you know, further specify various competitors, how you want to compete against them, you can do that here. Okay, so that's advanced settings. And custom settings, does anybody want to see me open up any of these, or they're pretty straightforward? Oh, the use condition one, probably.
Yeah, we talked about that one before, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you're selling used products, you have some options here. You can only compete, you can choose to compete against same condition. So like if you're used good, you will only compete against used good. Same or better means that you will only compete against used good or better. I think it's like above good is like new, I think. Yeah, so yeah. So same or better. Used condition. Oh, sorry. If you choose used, you can actually specify like, okay, my new products, I only want to compete against very good, good, or unacceptable. You can even define it like this. And if you're collectible, we kind of have some options for just for collectibles as well. So don't know if too many people are selling collectibles. Okay, so that's pretty much the rule. Do you guys have any questions about the rule?
No, I think that Carla wanted to see earlier how to get to the competitive analysis, and then we had somebody who wanted to see how to get to the upload section.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna close out of this rule. I think you guys got it. So let me go over to the manage listings page, and this manage listings page. It'll pull up all your SKUs. I made a group, so you can group SKUs. So this is like my demo group. So it's a little bit cleaner. So okay, so competitor analysis is you go to actions. So on the left side of this listing, you have an actions, and competitor analysis is the top option. Okay, so it pulls up what's in the screenshot. So this is kind of like a snapshot of the listing, basically. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, so since we're on this page, I guess let me run through really quickly the main parts of this managed listings page. So again, you start off with your SKUs, right? And you can see we have a lot of data on each SKU. We have like the status, the condition, and okay, so we also have the, over here in this box, we have the title, fulfillment type that you're using, number of sellers, ASIN, the buy box percentage for this listing, we estimate that for you. Whether the buy box winner is currently FBA or FBM, the sales rank for this listing, and moving on over here. Oh, you can leave a note if you'd like. Moving on.
It would be great if you have if you wanted to leave a note in there, if you had somebody else who was repricing for you, but you wanted to leave them a note saying, I know that this one looks like it should be repriced, but don't move this because I know it's going to move again in fall.
Well, that's a really great tip, because sometimes people ask me, hey, Michael, what do we put in those notes? and I guess, Robin, you use virtual assistants, right?
Yeah. So, and when you put a note in there, does it like change color? Does it like send off fireworks? Is there a way to see? That's okay, a great question today.
Okay, so let's say here's save that.
Because as fancy as FeedVisor was, it didn't have this, and so we had to create like a blacklist because Nate would reprice things to move them, and then Rochelle would reorder them because she's like, "Well, you're out of stock," and he's like, "I just got rid of them." So we started to look it. So it does when you highlight it there. So it doesn't. I mean, you'd have to make sure that was in your stops because it's kind of hard to notice, but yeah.
You're right. That's a good feature request. Maybe make it turn red or something. Let you know there's a note there. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea. Yeah, if you hover it over, you'll see the note.
Everybody email Michael at BQool.com and tell him to
Yes. Oh boy, so many feature requests today. Yes.
But can you show them the sales rank thing? How you can rank, so you can filter by like sales rank on the side there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I thought that was kind of cool. If you want, like, let's say you wanted to reprice your items that are ranked, lower, or if you wanted to, maybe once a month you go through and reprice things that have, really gone up in rank. This will filter, kind of like how Amazon does on the side, so only pull up, things that are in a certain range.
Yeah, we have so many filters on the left side. Goodness. Rank. Here we go. Okay, so I don't know. What's a good range? Like 50,000 to 100,000?
Yeah. Okay. And remember, this is a test account, so they probably have just like random stuff in here. So it's not going to, when you get in with your account, it will be a little, you're gonna get a better search narrowing based off of that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's running. Oh, okay. I have no listings. Sorry. I have no listings because a lot of them are missing the data. But yeah, that's how you would do it.
But if you guys notice, there's one in there that says units by, units sold in the last 30 days. So you could have it so like, anything that has sold, you could put the maximum at 3, and anything that's sold less than 3 in 30 days, that's going to pull those up. And so you can focus on repricing those. So this, when you only have, for those of you who are like, I don't have time to do this for everything of them, for all of your things, you could say, well, I really want to focus. I just need to make sure I have repricing on the things that I know are already selling, or then I'm going to start working on the things that I know haven't been selling so that they can start moving.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's so many filters here. Yeah, those are some pretty good ones to look at, for sure. And we also have some more filters on this left side. And hidden in here, we have default filters. So like you can find listings that are, so probably some important ones are listings, let me see, listings missing min price or max price. So this will let you know, like, hey, I need to go in and set these min and max price for these listings. Otherwise, they're not going to reprice. I need to do these. So this will help you sort and organize your listings. You can also sort by like whether the listing is enabled or paused for repricing, whether it's active or inactive. So lots of filters on this left side. Let me show you the calculator. I think you'll want to see the calculator in person. Okay, no, this one's not a good example. Let's do this one. I think this one's better. Okay, so right now it has all the information in there. It has a min price, and also this is for MF because my products in this store are all MF. But if you have FBA listings, you will get the FBA version of this calculator. It's slightly different. It'll have the FBA fulfillment fees.
So it's just because the reason it's showing merchant fulfilled is because the items that he has are in there merchant fulfilled because it's a demo account.
Right.
Are the questions not showing? Oh, hold on. I clicked off of it, Jen. I'm not ignoring you. Jen wanted to ask, if we filter by number of units sold in the last 30 days, can you exclude items with quantity of 0? So you would do that by just setting it at the minimum at 1, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can do like 1 to 20. Yeah.
And then Mark wants to know if we can use more than one filter at a time.
Yes, I believe so. So let's go ahead and let's see how that would work.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. So let's answer Mark's first, and then we'll come back to Jen.
Okay, so let's do units sold in the last 30 days. I don't know how many it's going to pull up, so let's do that. And maybe, let's see, maybe you just want, so what's another one that you guys would use together? Oh, maybe you just want active listings. Maybe you don't want to pull up any inactive listings. Yeah, so that should do it. You just set both and you hit search. So my test account, my bad, but it should work for you guys.
So it's a definite maybe on that, Mark. So if you wanted to, so she wanted to exclude, so with that would kind of, so that should, since you should be able to do both of them at the same time, you should be able to do the one filter for what you have. Is there one for filtering by that you have them in stock? Because she wants to filter out, like, so for retail arbitrage we'll end up with tons and tons of listings, so maybe out of like the 3,000 listings in our account, we might only have like 2,000 that actually have quantity. Is there a way to filter out those first?
It's just active and inactive. Yeah,
okay.
Active, it means it's in stock, and inactive is out of stock. That's what it means.
Awesome. She caught that before I did. Okay. And then, and then let's see. Let's see, let me see if there's anybody else, because there's a couple questions. I've got like 6 questions in here that that we haven't gotten to yet. So does anybody else have any questions specifically on this filtering, or is there anything else you wanted to show us on this before we go to some of the other things?
No, I think that's all for filters, but definitely a few more things on this page. But it's okay. I mean, yeah, anybody have any questions for this page, I guess?
Can you do inactive and not matching buy box price filter together?
Okay. Okay, status inactive, and then buy box. Sorry, what was the second thing about buy box?
And buy box and not matching buy box filter price.
Oh, is that up here? Ah, listing.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
I don't think so. Um, because the filters down here, I think you can combine the filters down here, but you cannot combine because they're different. They're tied in a different way.
So you probably have to find like some other indicator that matched the same that's in the bottom. Um, but you, or filter for one first, and then you could try to filter for the one and then see like if you can find some other commonality though. So probably not. And then um, the min and max price, you can just click on them and set them in here, or you could use the upload feature that we showed earlier, right?
Yes. Oh, so another thing that might help you. So okay, so let's say we sort by listings that not match buy box price, right? That's what you're looking for. And you also maybe you just want active listings. So the really cool thing is that the quantity available, you can actually click on all of these at the top. I need to mention that, and that's another way that you can sort. So it's running right now, but so if you click on quantity, you can pull up to the top all the listings that have quantity, and then all the ones that don't have quantity are on the bottom. Or I click quantity again, and at the top we have like listings that we don't have quantity yet, or they show 0. So that's like another, we have multiple like layers and ways to sort things.
Awesome. Um, and so I have a couple questions that were about like actually setting the rules. So I'm going to start with Jen, then I'll go back to a couple of Carla's questions and then Adrian's. We have a lot of items with no buy box. Is there a way to have a setting where BQool can price differently depending on whether there's a buy box or not? So like if the buy box is suppressed, do this, but if the buy box is not suppressed, do that.
Okay, sure. That is actually a really great question. So let's go back into the rule. Okay, so I'm going to go to the, okay, so our rule right now is set to lowest price, but if you set it to buy box price, you have slightly different options. And one of the different options is no buy box winner. When no one owns the buy box, that means the buy box is suppressed. And right now we have these 5 options available. You can do not reprice, you can use min price, you can use max price, you can use your price, or you can use a fixed price. We don't, what you guys may want to do, but we don't have the option right now is, okay, let's say buy box is suppressed, right? So there's no buy box. And what you want to do, maybe then you want to switch to, okay, then I want to compete against lowest FBA, right? Maybe that's what you want to do. We don't have that option right now, but that is something that we are planning. We're planning to have, in the next update, we're planning to have something called switches. And switches helps you switch to another rule. So let's say this listing has no buy box. So you would switch to another rule that would be, let's say, find the lowest FBA, right? That way you can kind of keep repricing instead of like using one of these options, which is kind of stiff. So that's something that we're planning in the next update. For now, these are the only options that are available.
And one of the other questions, so no, not yet, but after the next one, and a couple people have said that they really like the idea of switches. So if you could like get that released, that would be they're excited for that. So where do you so you can set them? Let's see. So that answered Jen's question, I think. Jen, let me know if it didn't. Can you pause pricing if automatically if out of stock?
Yes. Okay. The system does that automatically, actually. If you're out of stock, we actually stop getting. Yeah, I think we stopped getting price notifications, or anyways, yeah, it automatically just stop repricing if you're out of stock. And let me show you the general settings. I mentioned this earlier. So what you can do is under general settings, you can turn this on. So you can turn something on, reset your price when your listing is out of stock. So we kind of covered this earlier. So if you go out of stock, you can automatically take like whatever your current price is and you can add a percentage to it. And then you'll stay at that price until you come back in stock.
Okay. And how often is this data updated from Amazon?
Okay, so it depends on which data that you're talking about. Price notifications are constant, pretty much, or every, sorry, if you're on the 15-minute plan, we'll check like every 15 minutes. And if you're on the 5-minute plan, we also have 5-minute repricing. Then we'll check every 5 minutes for price updates. Yeah.
And does the out of stock items count against the number of items you can reprice on your plan?
Oh, okay. Okay. Good question. Okay, so if you go to listings available, what we'll do is we'll tell you how many listings are on your plan and how many you have repricing enabled. And the answer is yes. If you enable 5,000 listings and they're all, if they're all inactive, they will still count as repricing enabled. Yes, under here.
So you probably want to add that to your best practices or SOPs, the inactive ones, for those of you who do retail arbitrage, like maybe once a month, all the inactive ones that you know you're not going to restock is to take those rules off of those, price them high. So if they get a return, then it doesn't get priced at the lower price, and then move it out of that if you don't want to get charged or if you only have so many. Atara wants to know, can you create a bulk setting for the floor price equaling the cost multiplied by a percentage, like by an ROI percentage? Is that possible? And yes, Peter, there will be a recording of this.
Okay, so I'll show you what we can do. I think this goes back to can you do the calculator in bulk?
Yeah.
Right now, no, it's you have to click on each listing and you can only do it one at a time, but we definitely are working on, like, let's say you want to do ROI 100% across like all your listings, and that's something that we're working on. The challenge is that for each one of those listings, we actually have to call the Amazon API to get the fee, right? In order for the calculator to work. So that's something that we're still working on.
And Claudia has been really patient with this question. If I send replens in and their cost changes every time a shipment is sent, how does BQool handle this? It's the last price that you entered, right?
You saying cost?
So yeah, so like I buy a fingerling toy and I get it at $3.50, and then the next time I get it at $5, and then the next time I get it at $4.
Okay, so we don't automatically update your cost because we don't have access to your cost. So you'll have to update your cost in here, like on this page, or you can use the Inventory Lab closed batch report to update your costs.
So if you're using that closed batch, like we talked about, after every like shipment that you send in to update the costs, you're going to want, it's going to end up putting the last one that you have in there. So you want to kind of keep an eye on your replens. One of the things that we do with replens is that we kind of annotate that it's a replen in the SKU. So the way the format of the SKU is slightly different. So we know that, for those you could just sort that spreadsheet by SKUs and then make those adjustments. So let's see. Let me know if that answers your question. If that doesn't answer your question, Claudia. And then, so if you're competing against merchant fulfilled, how does that section work? Oh, it jumped on me. Hold on. How does that section work when you're also competing with the lowest price FBA?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Okay, so if I'm competing against somebody who's selling merchant fulfill, how does that section? So how does the merchant fulfilled section work when you're also competing against a lowest price, like an FBA, a lowest price FBA? So like if you got both of those things working together.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's go back into the rule then, and let's talk about that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's say on the repricing settings you have all of these checked off. Then I guess you're gonna have to imagine for a second. So we'll just look at all of the competitors, and we'll see which one is the lowest one. But let's say I uncheck Amazon, and Amazon is the lowest price competitor. We'll actually just ignore Amazon, and we'll look at number 2. Is number 2 are they FBA or FBM? If yes, then we'll apply this option right here, competitor's price minus 1 penny. And let me show you. Let me turn on advanced settings then. Okay, so let's say we have this turned on to competitor's price plus 5 cents. Okay. Okay, so so in this case, if the lowest price is FBA, we'll use competitor's price minus 1 penny. And if the lowest price is FBM, then we'll use this one, competitor's price plus 5 cents. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's just whichever one is lowest price. And let's go ahead and switch this to buy box settings. Okay, just to make this go away, I'm gonna choose something there. Okay, so let's say that we switch to compete with buy box settings. If, we'll leave this on, okay. If the buy box price is, is currently held by an FBA, you're gonna use this when buy box winner is above min price, buy box price minus 1 penny. Or even like plus 1% is okay. But if the buy box winner is FBM, then you're going to go down here and you're going to use buy box price plus 5%. So does that make sense? It'll look at which competitor type it is, whichever one is actually in the buy box to decide.
Yes, and Denise, yes, I am looking, cover the other topics. What, oh, the intellectual property stuff is in the mini course. I'll get you the link for that. So yeah, let me get you the link for that because it's in the Academy. It's actually on the top bar. So let me post that, but let me just get him set up with the next question. See what says I have some really old inventory that's showing inactive in the listings. What's the best way to delete those? I can't find the delete. So that's going to be in them. Yeah. Can you?
Okay. So BQool automatically, we download the listings report straight from Seller Central. So if you want to remove listings from BQool, you actually can't delete it from BQool. You would delete it from Seller Central. And then because we update the list every few hours, so after a few hours after you delete it, it'll delete from BQool as well.
And then, and so that would be in the, okay, she got it. Okay. And then if, I think the answer to this is no, because I think we talked about this. If we have a PL or bundle with no competitors, can you set a rule to reprice after a certain amount of time with no sales?
Okay, so that would have to do with switches, and um, so one of the switches that we're looking into is like you know, if you haven't had sales in a certain number of days, like a switch rule, because this rule's not working, right? So maybe you switch rule. So that would be something for the next update for switches. So we don't have that right
And then, so that's something that's coming later. And then, let's see here. Does listings subscribed included inactive listings, especially if out of stock? So I think we said that those do count, right?
now. Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then if I'm filtering my listings to show active status and units sold in 30 days from the ranges of 0 to 2, it's not showing my ASINs that have sold the quantity 0, but I'm sure that I have a bunch. How do I get those items to show up?
0 to 2. I think that's something. If you later on you could email support, I think that's something I might have to have support to check on. I'm not sure right now.
And then we have a couple people asking, how do they upload those bulk things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So does everyone pretty much understand this page, or do you want to look at any of the bulk actions or actions? I think they're pretty self-explanatory.
The only bulk question I see right now is applying like an ROI, and you couldn't do that, but you could set a minimum price you could set a minimum price where it's the cost, right?
Right, you're right. So let me show you how to do that really quick. So I select some listings and then I go to bulk actions and I select set min and max. All right. So automatically it'll choose the ones that you selected up here. There's some other options you can use as well. Okay. Okay, so for those of you, because some people, they already have the your price plus shipping, even before they start repricing, maybe it already has your fees and your margin already baked in. And for some people, you can just set your min and max as a percentage of that. So that's one option. Cost, so once you upload the cost in the BQool, you can have like a quick percentage in here. Let's say cost plus 100% for your min and cost plus 200% for your max. So I think you guys would know like what that number would be. It's not, it's obviously not as precise as ROI. So it's just pure cost plus a percentage. And the last one is like a fixed price. So it's like a global price. So like for all of these listings, you would select something like 15. And like max would be like 50. Just these are like very, very quick and dirty sort of settings.
Awesome. So that would be the bulk, and then let's go into the upload, because Carla said she had been having trouble uploading, but when we got to that text, the file thing, I wonder if maybe it had been saved as a CSV and not as a text.
That could be it.
Yeah.
So I guess let's go into the upload file. That's perfect. Give it a second. Give it a second to load.
And while he's loading that, David, the min and the max the min and the max are set by you, unless you set like having the min be based off of a calculation.
Right. Okay. All right. So on the bulk upload page, so I actually done some bulk uploads, and if your bulk upload shows errors, you can actually check which upload it was, and if you click on the view processing report, it'll actually tell you what is causing the error. So I clicked on it. Let's give it a second to download.
And there's 3 files that you can upload, right? There's the active listing, the closed batched, and this other, the repricing central? Or
Yeah,
are those
sure.
just, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's 3 files here that you can upload. The repricing central file, so let me go over them with you. The repricing central file is for uploading your min, your max, and your rule for each SKU. We kind of went over this earlier under MAP, where you just kind of copy over your min. It's really because a lot of times sellers, they already have, maybe they calculate the min or the max, maybe using inventory software or somewhere else. Maybe they have their own spreadsheets. I know some people have their own spreadsheets. And so they don't really use our managed listings page. They pretty much just copy and paste it into Excel, and they upload it here. Okay, so the active listings file is specifically for uploading cost only. Like, you want to upload cost, but you also want to use the managed listings page to use the calculator or use bulk actions. So you're not ready to set up min, max, and rule yet. You just want to do cost. So you would do active listings file. And the Inventory Lab closed batch report, as I mentioned earlier, just download that from Inventory Lab, convert it from CSV to tab delimited, and you can just select that, choose file, and upload it, and and we'll get the costs.
And in the chat, we've got links to to Kim and Perry's directions on how to do bulk uploads depending on the ROI you want. So the person who asked that question, that is in that, and Kim and Perry are awesome, hard to go wrong with anything that they say there as well. Oh
yeah, are Kim and Perry, are they in the audience today?
I don't know.
Okay.
They kind of have it. They have this down left, right, and center. So they are probably getting shipments in. I don't see them.
Okay, it's okay. But yeah, they probably have really good tips too. I know they're really really good with BQool, longtime BQool users. Okay. Okay. So in my case, the shipping, there was an error with the shipping fee. I needed to enter shipping fee. That's why it didn't upload. But let me actually, so the file, the person that had the question, they're having problems with the repricing central file. Is that one?
Yeah, well, I think that she might have gotten it now. She did say that she's got a new one. And then the template, where are you getting the template from?
Oh, okay. So yeah, back here, so you just select
right where it says blank template. Never mind.
Yeah. You just select the file that you want, and you click blank template, and it'll give you a blank template of the file here.
Okay. David says he has BQool set up. It calculated min and max mounts before I had time to enter the cost. Where is it getting those numbers from?
It entered min and max before you entered the costs?
Yeah.
Okay, so one possible, it shouldn't be automatic though. I don't know if he might have set up something. So in general settings, we kind of already went over this before, but in general settings, you have the option to set min and max and rule as listings are downloaded. Because some users were asking for this. Some people, they say, hey, can we just set up something like automatically, so we don't have to go in every day? So something automatic as listings are downloaded, and that's what this does. It's the same options as bulk actions. And so if you turn these on, it'll set your min, max, and rule to whatever you specify in here. So that could be one reason why things are already set up. Another thing is that cost is totally optional. Some people don't enter cost at all. You can enter a min price. You can enter a min and max price. Okay. Oh, I need to min.
Oh, he's saying that's what he has set up, but how is it calculating it without cost? I think it's basing it off a rule somewhere, right?
His min and max price.
You know what is so with your support, so some supports are like, like we answer specific questions, but if some supports are more what will help you through it. Is that would your support be willing, is that something that he could send a question and get a specific answer to you? Because I think without screenshots, which we don't want to do on a webinar, because you don't want your data out there with all these people, you don't want their I think that might be something you should check with support, because you might have selected something. And I just want to make sure, especially before Black Friday, that you got that taken care of. And I don't know why that last taking care of just sounded like a Valley Girl. It's like Takankarov. But what is the difference between the full and the blank template?
Oh, okay. Sorry, cut out just for a second. Let's go back to the upload file. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is the upload file. So, so just so you guys know, we have videos for this actually. So if you go to our YouTube and you type in BQool, we have some videos, and also Robin will give you the links so you can see how to do bulk uploads. But basically, you enter the data on this last slide, and there are some, let me show you the sample, I guess. There are some things that can cause this upload to fail. Like sometimes Excel will format numbers in like a very weird way. So you have to make sure that the formatting is correct. The min and max price, make sure there's no like dollar symbols or anything weird. Just the number plus the decimal points. And same thing with cost. Make sure there's no dollar signs or weird symbols. Make sure there's no spaces. Make sure just that your formatting is overall, it's correct. And save it as a tab delimited, upload it. And if there's any errors, it'll tell you which SKU and what's the error that's causing it. And if you're not sure how to read that, then go ahead and contact support, and they can tell you how to fix the error.
And then you talked about before we started that thing where you can schedule prices to raise the prices in the middle of the night to kind of drag everybody else's repricers back up. Can we touch on that real quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
I like that idea. I thought it was cool.
It is very cool. This feature, it wasn't used very often, but lately we have some users talking about it, and actually. The best thing about this is if everybody uses it. Everybody wins. Okay, so here's the repricing schedule, and you can turn it on for each rule. So what you do is you just turn on this repeated schedule right here, and you set the time that you want to pause repricing each day. So I would probably choose the middle of the night when your sales are lowest, and then you take whatever your current price is, and let's say you add, let's say 25%. And then you choose a time that like you enable repricing again. Like it can be like maybe just pause it for 1 hour, and then you'll start repricing regularly. So I think that's a good strategy. So what it does is everyone else who's also using a repricer will follow up with you. And then everybody starts at a higher price. and then you kind of work your way down throughout the day. Like if everybody's kind of stuck around the min forever, nobody's making any profit, nobody, that's like the race to the bottom. And this is kind of a way to jump up and get everybody at a higher price before you start competing down again.
Awesome. And, somebody could use that for evil and try to drag prices down in the evening too, but that's not something we're suggesting. But like you could use this also, like if you knew that you wanted to start pricing more aggressively on for Black Friday, so maybe Thursday after 5 o'clock, you could start, you could adjust how aggressive it would be for a certain period, right?
You're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're right. So so this repeated schedule is for like every day. So it'll just run, you see that it'll run like every day at this time that you set. But if you want to set a fixed date, so you can actually, so when is Black Friday? Is the 24th?
Oh yes, it is the 24th.
So you can actually, I don't know, 1 a.m. on Black Friday or something, you can do your price. You can do your price minus something crazy, like 25%. And then just pause it for an hour. Yeah. Okay, so this would be how you do it. So it'll pause at 1 a.m. and then it'll lower your price 25%. And then in 1 hour, it'll reprice regularly. Or you can even set the schedule to like, I don't know, something crazy, like for 5 days. Oh, actually, you probably don't want to do that. That'll pause it for 5 days. Yeah, probably just for 1 hour is good. Yeah, this is probably the best way to do it.
And Siwa wants to know, like, so if you're going to do that in the morning, do you recommend just being an hour, or I'm guessing an hour is, and if it's going to drag all the automated ones up, it would probably happen within the hour, right?
Yeah, I think 1 hour should be fine.
And does anybody else, I know we went a little over, but we had a lot of questions, so I wanted to make sure everybody got them answered. So let's see, I wrote, man, I hate it when I write myself a note. I wrote 5 SKUs, price changes, and I have no idea what that was. Let's see, we did the schedulers in the middle of the night. We talked about the next update, that there's going to be triggers. And so it will be that, if you haven't had sales in, 30 days, then then it will trigger a more aggressive price. So that's coming.
Yes.
And I can't remember what that 5 SKU things was. It was probably really awesome, but now we'll never know. But I think that's all the questions that, what's the best strategy to price up in the holidays? I think it's, staying slightly above the lowest price. I think that's really important. I don't know if Michael has any other tips.
You said price higher during the holidays?
Yeah.
I guess I can kind of refer you guys back to this slide. In general, the most important thing is probably the part of your rule where you choose like when your competitor is above min price. That's probably the most important setting, whether you do 1% or 2%. I think it's pretty hard to give a exact amount because, like Robin mentioned, you guys have different levels of competition on each listing, and you also have different metrics, and your competitors have different metrics. So I would try to find the tipping point where you can make the most, when you can win the buy box the most, without hurting your margins. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then kind of just start with what Robin suggested as like a baseline, and then kind of make adjustments as necessary for you. And on this slide, these are just kind of, a lot of these things are built into the repricer, like you'll do automatically. But some of these are options that we mentioned that you have to turn on. For example, You can raise price when out of stock. You can use the rescheduler to reset prices each day. And I didn't go over the safety net, but you can turn, our safety net prevents you from large one-time price drops. So let's say you were going to drop your price 50% because of a lowballer seller, and you turn on safety net and it'll limit it to like a 10% drop. So yeah, if you guys can refer to these slides as a general guideline, they can help you increase price.
Awesome. So I think that is it. I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to thank you Michael, so much for all the time that you spent with us. I really, really appreciate it. I think that there's a lot of things that, I mean, I didn't realize that BQool did, so I'm really glad that we did this. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And oh, let me mention one more thing, the
Oh,
coupon, right?
coupon.
Yes, we almost forgot about the coupon. So we have a Q4 promotion going on right now. Just go to blog.bqool.com, this page, and it's pinned right at the top, this Q4 promotion. So if you guys are new to repricing, you can get 40% off your first 2 months by using this coupon code right here.
And so you get a 14-day trial, right?
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, you could, not that Michael wants you to do this, but you could try it out for Black Friday, Cyber 5, see how it goes. And then if you decide to stay with them, then it's 14% off. I know the question somebody's thinking it. I am not getting an affiliate link. I'm not getting a kickback. I'm not getting paid anything to do this. They offered me to sign up for an affiliate. I probably will in the future. But right now, this link is just a pure link. I don't get any kickback off of it.
Wow, yeah.
So, but thank you so much. So I think we're going to head out because it is late on the East Coast. So I'm going to let everybody get to bed so they can get shopping early in the morning tomorrow. And thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Robin. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.